Okay, so traditional adverts in the importer's country. So like I said that it's really dependent on if you have the finance or if you have the network, the connection to actually do that. Maybe you can advertise like on their television, their station, their cables, their channel, radio, newspapers, magazines, where people can actually see whatever that you are selling or you are trying to export into their country. So that can also help you offline. So from the offline channels, then we'll talk about the online channels. The online channels. So for these online channels, I categorized it into using the communication technology that we have around us now and the social platforms that we have around us. These are free tools that you don't have to pay for, that you just have to use and know how to use it. Like WhatsApp, for instance, is a very good channel also where you can source or where you can sieve, let me say, where you can sieve different information to actually get down to what you need, to actually get down to maybe like the contract that you need. So like for instance, this morning, I still have an Indian that is asking for soybeans, that they need soybeans, 5 containers in India monthly. The port is Chennai Port, Tuticorin in India. So it's coming from WhatsApp. So, but if you are looking at it that WhatsApp is not is not valuable, or maybe something good can come from it. So if you join different groups on WhatsApp, like different commodities group, there are different commodities group on WhatsApp, different agricultural groups on WhatsApp, different export import groups on WhatsApp. The only limitation on WhatsApp is just that you can't search for groups to join, like you can do on Telegram. You can't search for groups to join, like, oh, let me search for imports. Then it brings out all the import groups that are on WhatsApp. Or let me search for exports. Then it brings out all the export groups that are on WhatsApp. So you need to get the links for this group to actually join this group. So most of the time, all you just have to do is try to get into one successful, maybe agricultural or export group. So from that one group, you can start increasing and multiplying the number of groups that you join over time, because there could be 1 or 2 people that will talk about another group, drop their WhatsApp link, and you can join from there. Maybe another agricultural group, you join again. Since you are focusing on maybe agricultural commodity, and if you are looking towards the mining and metal side, you are looking for more of metal platforms that is talking about maybe this group is all about zinc, maybe this group is all about lithium, maybe that one is all about copper, maybe iron ore, so you have to now look out for what you need to join essentially. So, and there's no limitation to the number of groups you can join on WhatsApp. There's no limitation to the number of groups you can join on WhatsApp. You can join as much as possible, as long as you have a good phone with a good RAM, so that the phone doesn't hang from time to time. So as long as you have that, you can join as much as possible. So if you are joining that, if you are using that channel, for instance, that means you have to be someone who is conversant with his phone. You have to be able to just skim through messages in a group, look through the messages to see maybe someone dropped something about a commodity for export or for sale to buy, or anything that you might need. So and then at the same time, on you also have to be able to make sure that you are not the type that maybe because someone sent in something into a WhatsApp group that you don't like, then you leave the group. The purpose of the group might be to go to point A, but maybe there's someone in the group who is just talking about point C. So that's not your concern. You just have to search for what you are looking for. What made you join the group in the first place? So it's like that in a lot of groups on different communication channels, WhatsApp, Telegram, but you just have to sieve through them. That's why I said you have to be able to sieve through a lot of information to look for what you actually want, because there are some people that their own is just to come and search for a buyer for maybe commodity, or to search for a supplier for a particular commodity, and they will just post it in different groups that you can join. So that if you are in those groups, you actually see them and you'll be able to respond and react to it. Another channel or another platform you can also use is Telegram. The benefits or the advantage that Telegram has over WhatsApp is that you can search. There is something called global search on Telegram. So on Telegram, you can go to the search button and type export, and it will bring out like different export groups that you can join. So as you are even listening to this class, if you are listening to the class through your desktop, yes, you can use web Telegram. And if it's through your phone also, I think you can still minimize and go to your Telegram and start searching. So if you search for export, you'll see different export groups that you can join. You can even streamline. You can streamline the group to country, to the country that you're actually targeting. So if you already have in mind that, okay, the commodity I'm looking at or I'm focusing on, this is the country where the usage is high, or this is the country where that needs the commodity more that I should target. So your target might be to be searching for export groups in that, or import groups in that country, in that target audience, or maybe trade groups, whatever that has to do with import, export, trade organizations, trade discussions, trade platforms. You just join and you also post and let them know what you do and what you are available for. So there's no group you join that will restrict you from introducing yourself, from talking about yourself, talking about your business, especially when you just join the group. You can always introduce yourself, like in one paragraph or two paragraphs, something that you just post once, not like it's disturbing the platform or the group, So, and with that, you can let them know that, okay, you have a company that exports so and so that, and that you can export so volume of that commodity in a month, in a quarter, in a year, and you can let them know that, okay, the minimum order that you are looking for, maybe is 1 container, maybe it's 3 containers, maybe it is 5 containers. So these are the things that you have to look out for when you are, advertising, or when you are marketing on an audience on Telegram. So on Telegram, you have the capacity to search by your own. For your own, you have the capacity to search. Then on like WhatsApp, for instance, on WhatsApp, you don't have that capacity to search. But Telegram, you have the capacity to search and join the group that you want to join using their global search. So the next is Facebook. How do you use Facebook to source for buyers, to source for export buyers, or to source for export contracts? The Facebook groups is what you can use. The Facebook groups, the groups are also like an unlimited platform that can serve as a B2B platform for you, that can serve as a business-to-business platform for you. So on those groups, if you search, you can search for any commodity, any country, location, trade groups on Facebook. And the list that Facebook will generate for you, you might not even be able to exhaust that list. So you might not be able to exhaust that list. So looking into all those groups itself, you can have an abundance of importers, people who need that commodity that you have to sell. So with these first three platforms that I mentioned, which is WhatsApp, the Telegram, and Facebook, if you are using the platforms consistently every day, just these three is enough to take your time. It's enough to take your time, you know, to make sure that okay, you are actually putting something on those platforms. Like after you've looked into the commodity you want to export and all that, then you have a template that you are using to actually send your market or your advert out there. You keep on doing that on WhatsApp, on the Telegram platforms that you've joined, and on Facebook. So even if it's hibiscus, let me say hibiscus flower that you are selling, that you are exporting. Hibiscus comes from Kano. You get people that will still request or order for maybe 1 container or 20-feet container or maybe 2 containers, or what have you. It could be soybeans, it could be maize, it could be that maybe you are looking at sesame seeds or dried split ginger, So that could be like the commodities you are targeting or that you are looking at sending out, at exporting, that you are looking for buyers for. So if you just go to your Facebook search, put in Malaysia palm oil, put in India cashew nuts, put in Vietnam wood, you'll see different groups that you can join, that you can target, different countries, different locations. So the more you can streamline the groups that you can join on Facebook, the better you can join groups that that are focused and have a lot of trade potential ahead of you. Trade potential ahead of you. So like in the last in my last program, in my previous program, I explained to the students that this is something you might want to employ someone for. So in case you know that okay, maybe you are working, but you might not be able to do this thing full time. Okay, you are supposed to make this post like every day, talk about your commodity, about your product, the price, the quantity you can export, your minimum order, quotation, request, and all that. So you might want to just employ someone to say that, okay, these are your tasks every day. This is what you do for me every day, and I'll pay you maybe so compensation or allowance at the end of the month. So, but if you are free and you know that okay, you are not, it's not like maybe this export thing is a side hustle for you, but the main focus. So it's something you can just start doing from now, from right now that we are discussing, that even before the end of this month, you can have a good export contract that even if you can't execute it, you can offer it out for commission or for someone to buy from you, So it works well because right now we are going into the cashew season. We are going to cashew trade, and you will see lots of Indians coming to Nigeria. A lot of Indians will be flying into Nigeria like in the next month, not even 2 months, by next month, because they have to prepare for the trade. They have to talk to maybe like merchants, off-takers, and all that. So like my company, for instance, AGX Africa, we have a platform that we created, cashewtrade.ng, that our own way of preparing for the trade. So everyone has if you are looking maybe towards a particular trend in the commodity market, like a season, you must prepare for it. Like it could be cocoa beans, for instance. You have to know when the new ones will be harvested, how many months it's going to take for it to be very dried. You might want to visit warehouses in maybe like in Modakeke, in Osun State, in Ondo State, in Ekiti, or if you can't get to Ekiti, at least Osun State is very close to Lagos. You can easily go there and make your findings, the price, the specification, the colors, you take the pictures, so that will make you see like the different shade of colors that they have. You can even tell the warehouse people to sell maybe 1 kilogram of it for you or 500 grams of it. So you can use that, use that to market yourself, like take pictures, videos of it, put in the dates, write the date in the picture, let people know you just bought these cocoa beans, or you have these cocoa beans. This is today's date, which means you actually have it in your possession, and you are trying to get importers for it. So that's how to convince prospective buyers, prospective importers to communicate with you, to be attracted to talking with you, to talking business with you. So this Facebook group is something that is unlimited, and in fact, if you do the Facebook thing very well, for instance, let's say you are looking for importer of dried maize, dried yellow maize, or importer of soybeans. If you can streamline, let's say like 50 to 100 Facebook groups that are Indian, that are located, let's say in India, in Bangladesh, within 24 to 48 hours, if you do it well, you'll get feedback, loads of feedback. So when people actually ask that, because I receive lots of calls from people, so some people might say that, do we have buyers that want to give them? So my response is usually that, okay, we can't put our own tools and resources, our own staff to sourcing for export contract that want to give out to our students. But what we can do is to let you know how to source the export contract. It's out there. The export contracts are, they are everywhere. You just have to talk, mention what you do, what you sell in the right places for them to contact you, for them to talk to you. So there's no hidden secrets about it. You just have to, be consistent and be online. If you are marketing like maybe on this platform, for instance, and you're expecting feedback from what you are doing, you have to be checking in like every time. You have to be online, trying to get your feedback from there. So Instagram also is also another platform you can use, but not as effective as the first three as I mentioned, especially not as effective as the Facebook groups. But you can also use that to target some audience, like Indian audience, Dubai audience, more of the Middle East and Asian audience. You get them on Instagram if you really also work on your hashtags that you're using to make your post for the commodities that you want to ship out. And you have to also look at what are the commodities that goes to Middle East Asia most from Nigeria. What commodities do they really buy? Cashew nuts, raw cashew nuts, processed cashew nuts, charcoal, hardwood charcoal, fisher charcoal, wood like the azobe wood and other type of wood. It's also something that they buy a lot from Nigeria. So like those are some commodities that you can now look at and say, okay, let me use Instagram to actually get buyers from this country. So, and in that case too, if you are using that platform, you have to be checking your DM from time to time, because since you are not following each other, they might not be able to send you a direct message until you approve it in your DM. So Instagram will block it. You have to approve, then communicate with the with the person. So there are several times we've had clients and good clients from Instagram. That's why I'm mentioning Instagram. So basically, all these platforms that I've mentioned are very good platforms that you can use to source for buyers. So there will be some groups I'm going to post the link on the WhatsApp group that everyone is like. Someone just asked me now if I'm going to introduce some of this group. So I'm going to post some Telegram links. I'm going to post some WhatsApp link. I'll put everything into the WhatsApp group. So, but for Telegram, you can still do more of that Telegram yourself because there's a global search you can use on Telegram. Meanwhile, for the Facebook also, you have to search for the Facebook. You have to search for the Facebook to yourself. You have to do that yourself. Just go to, let me see if I can check out something. Okay, I want to see if I can actually share, if I can just, okay, look at my, can you see my screen? Can you see this screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I typed export cashew India in the search bar. Export cashew India in the search bar. I want to go to group. So if you look at this group, there is you see different groups here. Okay, let me see this here. This no. I should trade. Okay, this one group. This one group, 7,300 members, cashew trade. Let me see. This is raw cashew nuts worldwide trading. Raw cashew nuts worldwide trading. These are my own. Okay, this is Ceylon cashew nut group. This group is from this is a Georgian. Is a Georgian letters. So all this group, you have to like join them because like this one, so raw cashew nuts, reliable sellers and genuine buyers. So you have different groups like that that you can join. Cashew nuts farmers and buyers, tan long. This tan long should be maybe Chinese or something. Global cashew online buyers, cashew nut buyers, sellers in Tanzania. So you'll see different. So these are related searches that people have, searched for also on Facebook. So you can use that to actually get different groups that you can join. From that Facebook groups, if you do it very well, in 72 hours, you should have very good feedback. Very, very good feedback. So supposing, let's say what you are searching for is palm oil, red palm oil. So you can search for palm oil in China, palm oil, Europe, palm oil. So you see different trading platforms that will have that palm oil that you can join. So you try to streamline and and create maybe like 20 that you see that okay, their performance is very good. They have very good membership. Then you posting pictures of the palm oil that you have, something that is very fine, that is good. So you look at it that what kind of palm oil sells best or is exported very well in the markets, maybe non-cholesterol palm oil, maybe and all that. So when you look at all that, those are the kind of specification you use so that they know that oh, you have a very good quality of this commodity. Then you put in your contact, your WhatsApp number that they can use to contact you. Some of them will even send you a message direct like on Facebook. So from there you can start communicating about pricing. So even if you are not, even if you don't have the financial capacity to do to make the export happen now, this gives you the experience of the negotiation, the finance aspect, the pricing, the Incoterms that we spoke about. So all these things, you are going to apply it in your communication when you are talking to a possible buyer or to a prospective buyer out there. So the sourcing map, our next slide, the sourcing map. What I mean by this sourcing map is that sometimes they are, because these work very well for if when you are even dealing with, let's say, like um, mini form of exporting. So you have to be able to look at it. Okay, who can actually help me out there? Maybe to talk to companies, to talk to factories, and maybe you have some friends, and that friend is actually working in a factory that you want to supply a particular commodity to. So you might not even know. You might know, but you might skip your mind. So these are kind of things that you have to look inward. You have to think about as you are trying to search for buyers. So you can be here offering a company maybe some sweet deals, very sweet deals about, let's say, cocoa beans, for instance, or cashew nuts, for instance, or dried split ginger, and they want to buy from you. They are willing to buy from you, but maybe because they've not met you before, or they've not seen you before, maybe so somehow you are feeling, or you could see that they have like some slight doubts in transacting business with you. It will be good if you can actually send someone over there to say, oh, go and represent me, just talk to them about our company, about what I do, so that it will improve the trust or the business relationship between you both. So this can actually help when you have someone over there trying to even do negotiation on your behalf and all that. So sometimes there are some exporters that they'll have their maybe blood relative, maybe just a network, maybe a friend, they finish from school together. So the one will be there in the company, negotiating on their behalf, trying to let their procurement officer know, if you buy this thing at maybe $2,000, it's very good, it's very fine, it's a good price. Buy it at $2,000. So if the contract was eventually released at $2,000, it might be that maybe the commodity you are buying here in Nigeria is maybe $500 or $400 or whatever. So that way, it makes your business easier, and it makes the trust also comes easy for you at the end of the day. If you can, use people who are close to you, you can search for those closer to your target audience that you've known in the past, that you can reach out to them to represent you, to talk, to meet with maybe officers or agents or employees or staffs of the company that you want to export to, that you want to work with. So it will really help your business and your company in the long run. So that's one thing about sourcing for export contracts, sourcing for buyers. So it's when you guys are now done with the agreements, with the pricing and negotiation, that's when you now start talking about the contract. They'll send you a format, or you send them a format, then you both look into the figures, the price, the location, the quantity, and all that, then you sign, and then you have your export contract that you want to execute. So the next slide is leveraging your SEO. So I'm going to be fast with this one. So the SEO, I mentioned like 2 classes ago that the SEO stands for soft corporate offer. The SEO is just like your template for what you want to sell or for what you want to export. So usually it's very good for if you are one commodity focused. If you are one commodity focused, you can fine tune your soft corporate offers and make it so that it's very interesting for a prospective importer or the company out there to buy from you, to buy your commodity. So when you have this fine-tuned and all that, you can now have a list of maybe 20 companies, maybe 20 importers that you want to buy from, or that wants to buy from you, or that you can send to, that at the end of the day, when they read it, when they look at it, they will say, okay, give me 1 container, give me 2 containers, give me 5 containers. So there are also some importer. You must always have it in mind that there are some companies that they don't have a limitation. They don't have like limits for the number of exporters on their list. Just that because maybe as a newbie, or maybe because you don't know about it, you might not know because the information might not come free, those kind of things. So, but there are importers like that, importing companies. They don't have limits. As long as you are exporting to them, they will be collecting it. In fact, they don't have like enough. They need more than what they are getting. So those companies, they always give out export contracts. Always. So it's now dependent on you to be able to search out those type of companies, to be able to, get them to read through your SEO to know that you can supply this commodity. So that's why I said leveraging on your SEO. Make sure that your soft corporate offer it has the picture of the commodity, it has the specification of the commodity, the price, the origin, where you actually got it from. If it's Ondo State, Nigeria, or you can just write Nigeria as the place of origin, where the commodity is originating from. Then the price that you are selling it, FOB per ton or CIF or whatever. Then you let them know the number of containers that you can export in a month. Maybe it's 2 containers I can do, 1 container, 5 containers. So by the time they read through it, then the specification, what's the color, what's the pH content, if you have to do any external tests, you put the result of the test in your SEO. So they're able to read through and understand what your commodity is all about, or the quality of your commodity. And you send that kind of offer to every prospect that you can lay your hands on, every prospect that you can find out there. Okay, so that's the end of today's class. So we have 7 minutes. I want to use that to take question before we end the class. So if you have a question, please just either unmute yourself and just go ahead and ask your question, or you raise your hand. So
hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Echi.
Yes.
Yeah, my question is, I know the last time we have your class in Lekki, you said something about 3 types of exporters, which is 1, the agent, who is between the exporter and the seller, while the second one is those who sell contracts, and the last one is the exporter himself, who buy contract and sell. My question is, these 3 type of exporters, is it the same thing with this source of buyers?
Okay. Well, the thing is that don't mix it up. Okay, let me mute. Okay, don't mix it up. Don't mix both up. It's the same thing. It's the same thing because you are still the exporter that is searching for the contract. So I try to let everyone know that there are different categories of entry points into the export business. You might not be coming in as the exporter yourself, as to export. So supposing maybe you don't have some millions or few millions to maybe quickly do a container, that kind of thing. So you can get a contract to actually sell. So for this sourcing for contracts, as an exporter, you are still going to source for export contracts. You are still going to source for export contracts. So it's the same thing because you are still the same exporter. So if you want to be an exporter and you want to search or you want to source for export contracts, you still use these methods to search for the export contract. And if you want to be a merchant now is different because you are just dealing with the commodities. You are not dealing, you don't have anything to do with the export contract, And if you are coming in as an investor, as a financier, yours is to, get export contracts that you just come, you buy it, and you execute it because you have the money. So you can buy from those who don't have the money to actually execute such contract at that particular time when they got the contract. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Emmanuel, can you ask your question?
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Okay. Please, I have a few questions to ask.
Okay, please speak out loud so that I can hear you.
Okay. Regards to the buyers, I once had a friend that told me stories about fraudulent buyers. So I really don't know, is there a way we may be able to detect buyers that are fraudulent? That is one. Then the second one is the processes involved in the export businesses, like the documents like certificate of origin, the invoice, village legend, and all that. The different government offices of parastatals where such things can be obtained before sending it to the port, to avoid the seizure of someone's goods. Does it, is there any special ability or special knowledge that we need to have with regards to that?
Okay. So your first question about the fraudulent buyer thing, well, it's easy to, you might be able to detect a fraudulent buyer from the export contract that the buyer sends you. That's one. Maybe through the pricing. Maybe if the price is too low, is way too low, like that the price that this person is quoting you or is telling you that he wants to buy might not even allow you to even get the commodity from the market. So that's one way to look at it. So another way to also look at it is your export contract, the contract that you are signing with that importer, with that buyer, outside maybe he giving you an LC, a letter of credit, and all that. So when it comes to payments, there's something we call open accounts. Open accounts is when you sign an export contract with a possible buyer. The person is not giving you an advance payment. The person is not giving you a letter of credit, but you have to ship the commodity to him. It's now when the commodity gets to him that you get paid, which is what's also called cash against documents. When you have stuffs like that, open account, that's when you have to be wary of open accounts. Last month, a colleague of mine posted something about an Hong Kong company owing them about $50,000+ in export proceeds that they are supposed to pay in. So those kind of things, they are done because you dealt with them on open accounts. Not necessarily like that company is fraudulent. Sometimes maybe something came up, the company was not able to pay at the time when they are supposed to pay. But at the end of the day, they will still pay. But those are things that you can avoid from your export contracts, from the way you look, from the process, from the negotiation. You can be able to determine a buyer that you should communicate with, and the one that you are just supposed to write out that, no, I can't do business with this person. So those are ways that you can prevent